Here's your wrestling news for February 7th, 2021. And your headlines for today include: Kiera Hogan takes shot at Sasha Banks for ripping her off. Kiera also drags fans. WWE set to make big Elimination Chamber announcement on Raw. The real story behind Titus O'Neil grabbing Vince McMahon is finally revealed. NFL legend Doug Flutie wins WWE 24/7 title. Bayley's rib on Michael Cole went very wrong during WWE Royal Rumble. Reported reason why Steve Cutler was released. Booker T wants to wrestle Triple H in Saudi Arabia. WWE claims Superstar Spectacle was watched by 20 million fans. Wrestling legend Butch passed away. Stone Cold Steve Austin responds to The Undertaker's comments that the current WWE product is soft, and more. We've got news from WWE SmackDown as Sasha Banks has reminded Kiera Hogan of herself. One half of the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Hogan sent a tweet out during SmackDown that accused the boss of ripping off her look, saying that she can be often imitated but never duplicated. At this time, the SmackDown Women's Champion hasn't responded to this claim, and even if she did, nothing would come of it as they're in separate companies. This past year has been nothing short of excellent for Banks' career, but clearly Kiera Hogan feels that it's come by copying her look. It wasn't long before fans flooded Hogan's mentions on social media, but that didn't faze the Knockouts Tag Champion one bit, who laughed off one claim by fans that she was insecure. After that, Hogan snapped back at the fans, saying that most of the people trying to put her down don't even have profile photos of themselves, and encouraged fans to be true to themselves. Hogan is clearly not backing down from her comments, but with the role that Sasha Banks has been on for the past year, we doubt she's all too bothered with what the Impact star has to say. WWE's next pay-per-view will take place on February 21st, and with just 2 weeks to go, plans are finally being sorted for the Elimination Chamber. During Talking Smack, Paul Heyman got very real with Adam Pearce and said that the WWE official needs to make a choice regarding who will WWE Champion Drew McIntyre face at the event, or he could be out of a job. Heyman specified that he expects that announcement to be made on tomorrow's Raw, and given his recent heel turn, we expect Sheamus will be the one facing his ex-best friend at the pay-per-view, though WWE are no stranger to subverting fan expectations. Whatever the case, tomorrow's show should be the start of the Elimination Chamber card being made official, the last WWE pay-per-view before the company's content is moved to Peacock. Now, for the past 2 years, Booker T has been in a battle with the Call of Duty video game franchise, and now this matter is going to be settled in court. According to PW Insider, Booker's lawsuit against game publisher Activision will go to court this year, after the two-time Hall of Famer filed a lawsuit in February 2019. Booker alleges that a character used in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 looks a lot like his G.I. Bro character, as the filing reads, "This is an action for copyright infringement. Booker T created 2 comic books based on his character G.I. Bro. G.I. Bro is a special operations action hero. Defendants published a series of multiplayer first-person shooter games under the general title Call of Duty. In 2018, defendants released Call of Duty Black Ops 4, a prequel to the prior video game Call of Duty Black Ops 3. In Call of Duty Black Ops 3, one of the specialist characters was David Prophet Wilkes, who had replaced 90% of his body with cybernetics to enhance his fighting ability. For the prequel, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, defendants chose to depict Prophet as he was before he remade himself. They could have drawn him any way they wanted, but they chose to steal Booker T's G.I. Bro. The lawsuit claims that the character was used without permission, and that Activision continues to use the Prophet character after they were made aware of it allegedly infringing on Booker's copyright. The lawsuit also claims that Activision has made over $1 billion since the game's release, and the jury selection process is set to begin on April 19th. Booker T has a lot of evidence that the character is his, as he put out 2 comic books with the G.I. Bro character in 2015, owns the copyright to G.I. Bro, and recently brought the look back for his Rumble appearance with Bad Bunny. We promise to provide updates on this case when we can, and Booker hopes to have this matter resolved very soon. One man no stranger to the courtroom is Vince McMahon, who fans may remember had a very uncomfortable encounter with Titus O'Neil in 2016. On the Raw, where Daniel Bryan announced his retirement, Titus grabbed McMahon's arm to stop him walking in front of Stephanie, leading to a livid chairman almost firing O'Neil, but gave him a 60-day suspension instead. Speaking on his podcast, Arn Anderson gave his point of view and explained that the chairman was embarrassed by Titus's actions. Titus caught him off guard. McMahon almost fell down. I think that embarrassed him. I think it embarrassed him more than anyone else looked at it as being a comedic moment or something, but I think in Vince's mind, it made him look bad. It's good that Vince didn't fire Titus, or he could have risked a wrongful termination lawsuit. And in the years since, the man with the greatest botched Royal Rumble entrance has learned to keep his hands off the chairman. Football news now, as NFL legend Doug Flutie can now add the 24/7 title to his trophy cabinet. During a celebrity flag football game in Tampa, R-Truth was pinned by the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, making Flutie one of the many celebrities to become 24/7 champion. Like many of his fellow celebrities though, this reign didn't last long, as Truth won the gold back seconds later, starting his 49th reign with the gold. Thanks to his football career, Flutie is celebrated in the NFL, CFL, and USFL, and can now add being a former 24/7 champion to his vast list of honors. Back to the ring, and ever since she cut her hair, Bayley has been shaving words into the back of her head, which didn't go as planned during the Royal Rumble. Before the event, Bayley said she was going to have Cole shaved in, poking fun at the veteran commentator who she said she'd challenge if she won the Women's Rumble match. This joke didn't quite go as planned, as Michael Cole didn't call the Women's Rumble match, meaning all of the role models' efforts were for nothing. During After the Bell, Corey Graves admitted that he was the one who encouraged Bayley to shave Cole's name onto her head, and perhaps the former women's champion will stick to targeting opponents she knows she'll share the ring with. Back to SmackDown, and after returning at the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins is coming back to the Blue brand. On this week's SmackDown, a commercial aired confirming the former Universal Champion will be in the Thunderdome next week, though it didn't specify what he'll be doing. Rollins left WWE TV at Survivor Series 2020 and has become a father in his time away. And now that he's back, we have to see what the company has planned for him on the road to WrestleMania 37. Video game news next, and WWE are ending their popular mobile game WWE Universe. The game, which launched last year, promised fans the most authentic WWE game on your phone, and allowed players to assemble a roster of their favorite Raw, SmackDown, and NXT superstars, as well as legends and Hall of Famers. Now, players who log into the game are met with a notice saying that the game will officially end on March 22nd this year, and has already been removed from the App Store. WWE haven't specified what game will be replacing this, but now these players will have to find something else to occupy their time when they're on the phone. Now, The Undertaker recently said that today's WWE roster is soft, and was annoyed that the superstars today play video games in the locker room compared to when the dead man's career began and wrestlers had guns and knives backstage. Since his comments on the Joe Rogan podcast, many people have agreed with the Phenom, but Stone Cold isn't going to just dismiss the current roster so quickly. Speaking on ESPN First Take, Austin said, "You're spot on in saying that today is a different era. It's a more athletic product. The guys and girls are better athletes than we were." Austin did admit that the Attitude Era allowed superstars to push the envelope creatively, and said that the product was a lot more protected back then. Austin also gave massive respect to the current-day superstars for being able to work without a live crowd, and it's ironic that the foul-mouthed, beer-swilling Texas Rattlesnake has given one of the most mature responses to the dead man's comments. We are looking ahead to WrestleMania 37, as although plans are slowly coming together for the two-day show, there's still a lot that needs to be decided. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that Edge will be challenging Universal Champion Roman Reigns this April, but WWE is still not sure who should walk away with the gold. There's plenty of reasons for either man to win, as Edge has pointed out that he never lost the World Heavyweight Championship when he retired in 2011, and having him win would make for a perfect WrestleMania moment. On the other hand, there have been few stars who have been better in the past year than Roman Reigns, who could cement arguably the greatest heel turn in modern history by defeating the Hall of Famer. It'll be interesting to see if WWE would be willing to pull the trigger on a Reigns win at WWE's first show with live fans in over a year, and time will tell what finish WWE decides on. One person fans won't be seeing at WrestleMania is Steve Cutler, who was released from WWE this week, and now we have a better idea of why he was cut. In their statement, WWE didn't give any reason behind his release, but it's been reported that it was due to a positive test. According to Dave Meltzer, it wasn't the test itself that caused WWE to sever ties with Cutler, but rather how he didn't take it seriously. He said, "The belief is that it had to do with his New Year's Eve party. McMahon had promised a few wrestlers like Reigns a safe environment when he returned, and Cutler was around all the talent. Cutler certainly shouldn't have been at any party if he knew he had tested positive, and given that Reigns spent months away from WWE to be safe, this would explain why McMahon was, quote, livid with the now former WWE superstar." Meltzer also mentioned how Cutler may be the first wrestler to lose their job for a positive test, and hopefully he'll be the last in this difficult position. From SmackDown to Raw, as Damian Priest made his main roster debut this week. After an impressive showing at the Royal Rumble, Priest was introduced on Raw by Bad Bunny to fend off The Miz and John Morrison, and it sounds like this pairing is part of some big plans for the former North American champion. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported why Priest and Bunny have been partnered together. They said, "The idea is Priest will get the rub in the Latino community in particular of being Bunny's tag team partner." The original plan for Priest was for him to debut on SmackDown as Kevin Owens' best friend, an idea both the prizefighter and Roman Reigns nixed, as it made no sense considering they'd never interacted before. This new role alongside Bad Bunny is probably for the best, as the Grammy-winning star is hugely popular with a younger demographic, especially in the Latin market, and WWE are hoping that those fans stick around thanks to Damian Priest. Now, Booker T has done it all in WWE, but the two-time WWE Hall of Famer wants one more major match. Speaking on his Hall of Fame podcast, the five-time WCW champion spoke out about wanting to have one match at a Saudi Arabia show and already has an opponent planned. He said, "WWE are passing out the big checks to wrestle there. For me to get in the ring, the situation would have to be right. I would want to get paid. I would love to have another match, situation's right, with Triple H." Older fans will remember that the two did face off at WrestleMania 19 in a controversial feud that ended when the game pedigreed Booker and waited almost a whole minute before making the pin. Speaking about that match, Booker spoke about how even those backstage didn't agree with him losing, saying, "I remember a couple of the office guys said, 'Book, you should have won tonight.' Well, you wrote it, you had a piece of it, why didn't you speak up?" Thanks to his recent appearances with Bad Bunny, we know that Booker is still in incredible shape, and Booker T's name could bring back the nostalgia associated with the Saudi shows, and give the Hall of Famer and the fans some resolution for how his match with Triple H ended the first time. From one major WWE show to another, as the recent Superstar Spectacle did big numbers for the company. In their investors' call, it was noted that 20 million people in India alone tuned in to watch last month's show. And with NXT India set to launch at some point in 2021, WWE is clearly targeting what's proven to be one of their biggest markets. Back to SmackDown next, as Sasha Banks is doing big things both in and out of the ring. This week, the reigning SmackDown Women's Champion was announced as the honorary starter of the 63rd annual Daytona 500 race and will be waving the green flag on Sunday, February 14th. The Boss will be joined by Pitbull, who is serving as the Grand Marshal for the event. This is just the latest big deal for Banks, who made headlines thanks to her appearance in Star Wars' The Mandalorian, and we'll have to see where the Boss pops up next as her mainstream media presence continues to grow. We've got some sad news to report, as wrestling legend Butch Reed has died, aged 66. A former star of the Kansas City Chiefs, Reed rose through the Midwest territories before arriving in the WWF, where he competed at both the first Survivor Series and the first Royal Rumble. Away from WWF, Reed held singles gold on 4 different occasions, as well as a tag team reign with Jim Neidhart, and is remembered for an impressive feud with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. On Twitter, tributes have poured in, with JBL saying he spent his first night in the wrestling business talking with Reed, whilst Stevie Ray said the legend was like a big brother to himself and Booker T. It's always sad to lose a member of the wrestling community, and we at Slatrock send our deepest condolences to the Reed family at this time. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, hit that share button, subscribe if you haven't already, Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can turn on all notifications and not miss out on any updates we post here. And as always, thank you for watching.